build their wealth by doing unethical business takeovers, basically buying over a business, removing everyone who was part of the foundation of the success of that business, and milking that business dry. And they're not just known as difficult and toxic within the business world. People that work directly with the Peltz family have come out about how much of a nightmare every single member of that family really is.
Night I stayed with him in his hotel. I did say to him, because I expected him to do this with many girls. He's a football player, and the way he looked at girls and blah, blah, blah.
Was it more than one time you slept with him?
Yeah, I stayed with him a few nights. Then he met someone else.
Even though
Big
you were
time.
cheating on Victoria,
Yeah.
did you feel cheated on?
Yeah, of course.
Victoria Beckham straight up called herself a control freak, and wow, she wasn't kidding. When her son Brooklyn tied the knot with Nicola, things spiraled fast. Victoria completely lost her grip. Rumor has it she tried to mess with the whole wedding vibe, from allegedly ruining Nicola's wedding dress to even hijacking their first dance. Can you imagine that? Brooklyn later confessed it was one of the most embarrassing moments of his entire life, saying he'd never felt so uncomfortable, especially with 500 guests watching his mom steal the spotlight, dancing all over him like it was her moment. That's next level awkward. But get this, Victoria might not even be the real problem here. Nicola's got her own drama going on. Coming from a family that's not just rich, but mega rich, she's often described as cold, rude, and totally heartless, traits people claim are a family trademark. Maybe that's why Victoria was so desperate to protect Brooklyn from her in the first place. The tension between them is impossible to miss. There's even a clip where Brooklyn tries to bring Nicola into a family photo, and Victoria just turns her back, straight up ignoring them like they weren't even there. The awkward energy is off the charts. One online comment nailed it perfectly. You could cut the tension with a knife. It's starting to look like Victoria might be a little jealous of Nicola. And honestly, the vibe totally gives that away. One person online even joked, "Even a billionaire's son can't escape the boy-mom drama." That comment hit hard, especially after Brooklyn Beckham dropped a statement that seemed to call out his own family, mainly his mom, Victoria. Things are seriously heating up, but like any messy family situation, there are always two sides. So, let's break down what's really going on between Brooklyn, his wife Nicola, and his mom Victoria, because this drama isn't new. It's been brewing for years. Let's start with Victoria herself. That control freak label didn't just come out of thin air. She earned it. Long before the Brooklyn and Nicola tension exploded, Victoria already had a reputation for being, well, intense. People have even called her a monster-in-law. And to be fair, she's openly admitted that she's obsessed with keeping control over everything. This all goes way back to her Spice Girls days, when she owned that posh Spice image. Sleek, serious, always perfectly composed. She worked hard to protect that look, but behind that polished face, it always seemed like she struggled with how the public truly saw her. That pressure never really went away. Then came her ultimate power move, marrying soccer legend David Beckham. Together, they turned their relationship into the Beckham brand, a total global empire that screamed perfection. But behind all the glam, their marriage wasn't exactly the fairy tale people thought. Rumors swirled that David's alleged affairs in the early 2000s threw their marriage into total chaos. Things weren't always as picture perfect as they looked. Most couples would have completely fallen apart after something like that, but not Victoria. She held on tight. When it comes to control, she never lets go. And yes, it's been confirmed, David really did cheat on her. The whole scandal exploded, and every shocking detail is laid out in The House of Beckhams, a tell-all book by investigative journalist Tom Bauer. He spills all the secrets, revealing how Victoria didn't break down when she found out about David's affairs. Instead, she went straight into crisis control mode. Picture this. You find out your husband's been unfaithful, and instead of losing it, you pull yourself together and start managing your entire family's public image like it's a PR campaign. That's exactly what Victoria did. Rather than walking away, she went into overdrive, cleaning up every single scandal and keeping that perfect couple fantasy alive. She played strategist, fixer, and brand manager all at once. Victoria didn't just save her marriage, she protected the Beckham empire itself. Her need for control literally kept everything from crashing down. But here's where it gets wild. That same iron grip she had for years started to slip. And the biggest crack in her control, her own son, Brooklyn. He's always been the odd one out in the Beckham family, a little less polished, a little more unpredictable. But once he got serious with Nicola, everything changed, and then suddenly Victoria's carefully built world wasn't so easy to manage anymore. The tension went through the roof. Even Victoria's legendary control couldn't keep the family from falling apart this time. Now let's shift the spotlight to Nicola. She's not just an actress. She's an heiress with serious power. You might remember her from Transformers, Age of Extinction, or the hit show Bates Motel. But here's the kicker. Nicola doesn't need Hollywood money, not even close.
To explain the history of Nicola Peltz, we have to get into her father, Nelson Peltz. And Nelson Peltz started off this guy where his family had this frozen food delivery business, and he was actually just a truck driver for them, but eventually rose to be head of the company, and then they started producing their own foods. He turned into a multi-million-dollar operation, and then in 1997 he bought Snapple, and from that and a variety of other deals in the food space, he became a multi-billionaire.
She was born into one of the wealthiest families in the entire US, so financial stress isn't even in her vocabulary. And honestly, that probably sounded like a dream come true for Brooklyn. He grew up in pure luxury as a Beckham, and marrying Nicola meant he didn't have to give that lifestyle up for a second. Between her family's mega fortune and his famous background, the guy's basically living in a non-stop VIP zone. Some reports even claim Nicola's family is worth 3 times more than the Beckhams. Can you believe that? That might just explain why Victoria's been throwing some serious shade from day one. The feud supposedly started with something super personal, Nicola's wedding dress. Victoria was originally supposed to design it herself, but at the very last minute, she allegedly pulled the plug. That's not just drama, that's a full-on bombshell move. According to Brooklyn, that decision set off total chaos. He once claimed, "My parents have been trying endlessly to ruin my relationship since before my wedding, and it hasn't stopped." He even said, "My mom canceled making Nicola's dress in the 11th hour despite how excited she was to wear her design, forcing her to urgently find a new dress." That's brutal. Imagine the stress. A wedding day disaster sparked by your own mom's move? That's seriously intense. No wonder people started saying Victoria felt threatened, not just by Nicola's insane wealth, but by how easily she pulled Brooklyn's attention away. Most moms would be over the moon seeing their kid get married, right? But Victoria? It seems like she had a whole different plan. The fact that she was allegedly playing games with Nicola's wedding dress says everything. When Brooklyn and Nicola first got engaged, Victoria supposedly made a super sweet gesture. She offered to design Nicola's wedding gown herself. Nicola was thrilled and told people it would be an honor to wear one of Victoria's originals. It sounded like the perfect bonding moment between future in-laws, total fairy tale energy. But as the wedding day started getting closer, that dream moment turned into straight-up chaos. Nicola began noticing weird delays, mixed signals, and excuses that didn't quite add up. Suddenly, it looked like her dream dress wasn't such a big priority for Victoria anymore. Everyone around them started to worry that the gown might not even get finished in time, and then, boom, came the real shocker. Instead of calling Nicola directly, Victoria reportedly picked up the phone and contacted Nicola's mom saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna be making that dress anymore." Just like that, no warning, no heart-to-heart, nothing. Nicola was completely blindsided. And to make things worse, the media started painting her as some spoiled diva for not wearing a Victoria Beckham design on her big day. That's wild. But here's where things get even messier. Brooklyn's version of events might not be the full truth after all. In a resurfaced Vogue interview, bridal stylist Leslie dropped a major truth bomb. Nicola's final gown, that jaw-dropping custom Valentino masterpiece, had actually been in the works for a whole year. The article, published in April 2022, revealed that the gown came together after endless months of planning with one of Valentino's top creative directors. That's not a last-minute switch. That's a long, carefully planned move. So maybe this whole fashion feud wasn't as simple as everyone thought. In fact, it might have been brewing behind the scenes way longer than anyone realized. According to Vogue, Nicola had already been in talks with Valentino for over a year to design her dream wedding gown, fully custom, every detail handpicked. So now the big question is, if she was already that deep in with Valentino, why would she even be stressing about a Victoria Beckham design in the first place? The article even quoted Nicola saying it was a no-brainer to choose Valentino for her wedding look. And honestly, that says a lot. From the sound of it, Victoria might never have been part of the final plan to begin with. Here's what might have really happened. Nicola wanted multiple gowns for her huge, high-profile wedding, which totally tracks for a celebrity celebration like that. But somewhere along the way, she and Victoria apparently clashed over when Victoria's design would actually be worn. Instead of meeting halfway, Victoria reportedly decided to pull her dress from the lineup entirely. That single move turned what could have been a sweet moment into a full-on fashion showdown. Sounds like Victoria didn't want her design showing up during a less important moment of the wedding, and honestly, that tracks perfectly with her perfectionist vibe. So maybe both sides have a point here. Nicola wasn't exactly ditched at the last minute, but Victoria definitely felt slighted and disrespected. Two things can be true at the same time, right? But just when it seemed like the drama had finally cooled off, Brooklyn dropped one of the wildest claims yet, that his mom hijacked his wedding and danced all over him in front of everyone. That's chaos on another level. Here's where things go completely off the rails. Mark Anthony, yes, the Mark Anthony, a close friend of the Beckhams, had offered to perform at Brooklyn and Nicola's wedding as a special gift. Sounds super sweet, right? But what went down on that stage turned into one of the most awkward, jaw-dropping moments of the entire night. Right before starting his song, Mark called out, "The most beautiful woman in the room tonight, come on up!" And guess who stood up and walked to the stage? Victoria Beckham. Not Nicola, Victoria. The whole room froze. According to people who were there, Nicola was completely blindsided. She looked stunned, like she couldn't believe what was happening. It was supposed to be her moment, but suddenly all eyes were back on Victoria. The crowd went dead silent, no clapping, no cheering, just pure shock. People were whispering, looking around, totally confused. Guests later said you could literally hear a pin drop in that room. Imagine being the bride and watching your mother-in-law steal the spotlight like that on your wedding night. Absolutely unreal. Brooklyn later confirmed the chaos himself, saying his mom basically hijacked his first dance with Nicola, and his claim lined up perfectly with all the reports that started popping up online. One anonymous insider even spilled to gossip site Du Moi that Mark Anthony's performance made the entire room uncomfortable. According to the source, Mark gave a whole speech, performed his song, and didn't even mention Nicola or her family once. Instead, he dedicated the performance to Victoria and Brooklyn. Like, what was that about? That was reportedly the final straw. Nicola couldn't take it anymore, and she ran out of the room in tears while her entire family followed her. Brooklyn rushed after her too, and the two of them stayed outside for quite a while, trying to calm down. Inside, the tension was unbearable. Guests said the whole atmosphere changed instantly. What was supposed to be a glamorous fairy tale wedding suddenly turned into emotional chaos. The strangest part? Apparently, the only people who gave speeches for Nicola that night were her acting coach and her stylist. Not even her own family got much of a moment. That detail alone says everything about how divided the room really was. You could practically feel the split energy. Beckham guests on one side, Peltz guests on the other. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, Brooklyn later revealed that his mom danced with him in a way that made him feel deeply uncomfortable. He even admitted it was the most humiliating moment of his entire life. Can you imagine that?
Mistakes. Children are allowed to make mistakes. That's how they learn. So that's what I try to teach my kids. But, you have to sometimes let them make those mistakes.
Being at your own wedding, surrounded by hundreds of people, and feeling like the night was slipping out of your control, it's pure awkwardness turned into heartbreak. One person online joked, "Show us the Beckham files. The wedding video." Another chimed in, "Release the wedding tapes." Honestly, people would pay serious money just to see what really went down that night. The curiosity is off the charts. But beneath all the gossip and memes, it's actually pretty heartbreaking when you think about it. You can't help but feel bad for both Brooklyn and Nicola. The whole situation sounds absolutely draining. It's like they were trapped in the middle of a family storm that just spun way out of control. Some people even called it borderline toxic parent behavior, and you can kinda see why. The idea of 500 guests watching Victoria Beckham dance in a way that made her own son uncomfortable? That sounds like something ripped straight out of a painfully awkward movie scene. Totally cringe. But of course, the internet did what it does best. It turned the whole thing into meme gold. Clips, jokes, and fake behind-the-scenes posts about Victoria's infamous dance flooded social media for weeks. People couldn't stop talking about it. Then came the real twist. Brooklyn revealed that the wedding was such a disaster that he and Nicola decided to renew their vows later on. They wanted to wipe those awkward, humiliating memories clean and replace them with moments filled with happiness, peace, and love. And honestly, who could blame them? After all that chaos, they just wanted something real, a day that actually felt like their love story, not a headline circus. People close to the Beckhams say Victoria is always on edge. Everything has to be perfect. From the image to the posture to the tone, it's all about maintaining that flawless appearance. Some even call her downright superficial, claiming they actually feel sorry for her daughters-in-law who have to live up to those impossible standards. And from what Brooklyn's shared, it sounds like that tension runs deep. He revealed something truly harsh. The night before his wedding, members of his own family allegedly told him that Nicola wasn't blood and not real family. That's cold. Brooklyn said his parents have been trying nonstop to tear his relationship apart, and honestly, that statement alone speaks volumes. Now the big question is, who exactly said those words? Was he talking about his brothers? Because let's be real, once someone's married in, they are family. The whole thing makes no sense, especially considering Nicola's family isn't just wealthy, they're reportedly worth 3 times more than the Beckhams. So why the shade? Why treat her like an outsider when she's already part of the family circle? And as if that wasn't messy enough, things got even more dramatic during the wedding planning. Brooklyn claimed that Victoria actually called him evil. Yes, evil. All because he and Nicola decided to give their nannies seats at the reception. Like, seriously? Over seating arrangements? That kind of reaction shows just how deep this family tension really runs. So here's the deal. Brooklyn and Nicola had their longtime nanny, Sandra, seated at her own table during the wedding. Totally harmless, right? Well, apparently not for Victoria. She reportedly found it disrespectful that her husband, David, who Brooklyn jokingly calls a total boss, was placed at a nearby table instead of right beside them. But calling your own son evil over something like that? That's seriously harsh, and it definitely doesn't paint the prettiest family picture, but the real shocker came just weeks before the wedding. Brooklyn claimed his parents actually pressured him to sign away the rights to his own name. Basically, they wanted him to give up any ability to make money or start ventures using Beckham. That's wild. If that's true, it sounds like they were trying to keep total control of the family brand, even if it meant cutting their own son out of it. That's a bold and honestly sneaky move. It's hard to imagine Victoria and David wanting to limit their own kid like that. Why stop Brooklyn from building his own path or making a living off a name that's literally his by birth? If these claims are real, it shows the rift in this family runs way deeper than just emotional drama. This is about money and control. And it didn't stop there. Reports say that after Brooklyn's explosive comments went public, Victoria clapped back with full-on legal fire. She allegedly sent him a cease and desist letter, a legal threat, to her own son. That's next-level family drama. It's clear at this point that both Victoria and David are ready to protect the Beckham brand at all costs, even if it means going against their own flesh and blood. The fact that lawyers are now involved just shows how serious this family feud has gotten. It's no longer just a few tense words. This is full-on legal warfare. Meanwhile, David tried to keep his cool in public. When reporters asked about the drama, he smiled and gave a calm, polished statement about loving his kids. But that smile didn't fool anyone. People said he looked way too relaxed considering how explosive things have been behind the scenes. It almost came off like he was brushing off the chaos entirely. And here's where we hit the real nerve. Victoria's problem with Nicola boils down to one thing: power. Nicola's family isn't just rich, they're insanely, generationally wealthy, and that kind of money shifts the power balance big time.
Nicola would make them work as much as possible and have them do as many disgusting things as possible. And then, at the end of the week, she would fire them and start the process all over again with a new maid the following week. There was also said to be an incident where Nicola pushed a nanny down the stairs.
For the first time, Victoria isn't the one holding all the cards, and that's eating her up. Insiders say she feels like she's losing control over Brooklyn, because now Nicola's the one with the influence, the fame, and the financial muscle. Victoria has always been famously close to Brooklyn, her golden boy, the one she spoiled and protected more than anyone. But according to reports, Brooklyn's been bonding deeply with Nicola's family, especially her dad. That connection might just be shaking up the Beckham empire from the inside out. For Victoria, watching her favorite son drift away like that has to sting badly. People close to her say she's been struggling to handle how much things have changed since Nicola entered the picture. And now, it seems like Victoria and her inner circle are fighting back in their own way by subtly painting Nicola as the difficult one in the story. The tension is thick, and the power struggle is far from over. Nicola isn't just any celebrity wife. She's an heiress with serious money and a strong personality. She's outspoken, confident, and always ready to stand up for Brooklyn no matter what. And that right there is part of why things got so heated. Nicola's not the type to stay quiet. She's used to calling the shots. So when she walked into the Beckham circle and started voicing her opinions, it definitely didn't sit well with Victoria. Two powerful women, both used to being in charge. A clash was basically guaranteed. Then came the photo shoot that set everything on fire. The one with the headline, "The New Miss Beckham." That headline reportedly infuriated Victoria. It made it seem like Nicola was taking her crown, stepping right into her spotlight, and Victoria was not having it. The internet instantly exploded over the cover, and the comments section turned into a full-blown battleground. One person wrote, "There will always be the OG Miss Beckham." Another added, "I'd be mad too. There's only one Miss Beckham, and that's Victoria. Show some respect, Nicola." And someone else came in hot with, "Honey, you can't beat Victoria." The whole situation turned into a quiet but fierce war of identity, a power struggle between the original Miss Beckham and the woman being crowned as her replacement. It was more than just a headline. It was symbolic. Nicola was being positioned as the new face of the Beckham name, while Victoria clearly wasn't ready to hand over her throne. And in the middle of it all was Brooklyn, just trying to live his life. He's grown up, married, and building his own family. But Victoria? She still seems unwilling to let go. That mix of love, control, and jealousy has made her look like the ultimate mother-in-law from hell in the public eye. And just when things couldn't get more dramatic, an old scandal from 2009 suddenly resurfaced. A controversy linked to Nicola long before she ever became part of the Beckham family. Reports started flying, and once again, the past came back to stir up fresh trouble. The drama took an even darker turn when old accusations against Nicola resurfaced, claims that she mistreated and threatened her household staff just for fun. That's wild. It's crazy how deep the tension runs and how both women, Victoria and Nicola, seem to have skeletons that just refuse to stay buried. According to one shocking report, Nicola was accused of routinely threatening her family's domestic staff, allegedly warning the maids that she'd have her dad fire them if they didn't follow her every instruction. And apparently, she wasn't bluffing. The article claimed that one former nanny was escorted out of the mansion by two massive bodyguards after finally deciding she'd had enough of the chaos. That's intense stuff. Some people even started saying that Nicola might just be a new version of Victoria. Same confidence, same strong personality, but with way more money and power.
Terrible news, because TMZ is reporting that we are never going to see this alleged wedding video of Victoria Beckham inappropriately dancing on Brooklyn. And according to sources who spoke to TMZ, they claim that Victoria was right up against Brooklyn, allegedly in a way grinding on him. But the sources say that Brooklyn is so mortified he never wants the moment made public.
It's kind of ironic when you think about it, because when Victoria first joined David Beckham's world, she faced the exact same kind of judgment and criticism. And now, all these years later, Nicola seems to be reliving that same experience, just with a lot more tension and an even bigger fortune involved. But here's where things get stranger. Reports coming from inside the Peltz mansion paint a weird picture of what it's like behind those luxury walls. For a family that rich, you'd expect comfort. But instead, insiders claim the household runs on strict rules. Staff members allegedly have to bring their own food every day and aren't even allowed to touch anything in the kitchen, not even leftovers. One source said that if anyone was caught eating something that was about to be thrown out, they'd get scolded harshly on the spot. The same report even mentioned a jaw-dropping moment involving Nicola's mother, Claudia, a story that had people questioning just how intense things really are inside that ultra-rich household. According to one shocking claim, Nicola's mother, Claudia, allegedly called a butler to clean just a few drops of urine off a toilet seat and made him scrub it 4 times. When he started to look frustrated, she supposedly snapped, saying she didn't like his attitude, then fired him on the spot. That's intense. It's wild to think that behind all that glamour, money, and elegance, there might be this cold, tense world where perfection rules everything and no mistake goes unnoticed. And maybe, just maybe, Nicola didn't fall too far from the tree, because that kind of strict control sounds eerily familiar. And get this, The whole incident reportedly happened on Easter Sunday. Can you imagine? The household staff allegedly being micromanaged and terrified even on a holiday. Some reports even claimed that the tension in Nicola's household got so bad that a few of the nannies felt completely drained emotionally and mentally. That's seriously unsettling. No wonder people have started side-eyeing Nicola, especially with all the drama already surrounding her personal life. But it doesn't stop there, because rumors about her family's business dealings have also raised eyebrows. Allegedly, the Peltz family built part of their empire through a ruthless financial strategy, investing in struggling companies, draining them for every resource, and then flipping them for massive profits. It's a cold, calculated way to make money, and while it's legally smart, it's earned them a pretty shady reputation in certain circles. But the most jaw-dropping rumor of all, one report actually claimed that Nicola once pushed her longtime nanny, Maria, down a flight of stairs during an argument. The story spread online like wildfire, but the family immediately hit back, calling the accusation completely false. Still, the fact that such a wild rumor even exists just shows how much controversy follows Nicola everywhere she goes. Behind the glam and designer gowns, there's a world of drama most people would never expect. Sadly, that same nanny has since passed away, though there's no confirmed connection between her death and the rumored incident. Still, the entire situation left people completely shaken, wondering what's really going on behind those mansion walls.
Apparently Nicola was going to have a dress designed by Victoria, but last minute Victoria decided not to do it. And I honestly think the reason that Victoria did that is because at the end of the day, Victoria and David Beckham did not want Brooklyn to marry Nicola, and they were looking out for their son. I have seen stories of Nicola Peltz's family, what happened with the wedding planner, what's happened with nannies, and so I believe that David and Victoria were looking out for their son, have always been looking out for their son.
If even part of those claims were true, it would be terrifying. It would make Nicola sound downright ruthless. Whether true or not, those stories have painted a dark, chilling image of someone who might actually have more in common with Victoria than anyone expected. And honestly, that's the wildest twist of all, because this entire situation feels like deja vu. Back in the day, when Victoria first joined the Beckham family, David's parents reportedly couldn't stand her either. She had to fight for her place, just like Nicola seems to be doing right now. It's like the same family tension has come full circle, only this time, Victoria's the one playing the opposite role. History really seems to be repeating itself, but with the power dynamics flipped, now she's the one struggling to accept her son's new partner, and it's giving major karmic energy. One online comment summed it up perfectly. History repeats itself, for sure. And another person added, so this is a generational curse, maybe? Honestly, that might not be far off. The Beckham family does seem trapped in this never-ending cycle. Control, jealousy, pride, and endless in-law drama. Every generation's fighting the same emotional battles, just in fancier clothes and bigger houses. It's messy, dramatic, and almost poetic, like they can't escape their own legacy. It really does feel like history is repeating itself, doesn't it? What are the chances that the same kind of drama that once surrounded Victoria is now happening all over again with Nicola? It's almost eerie. Maybe this whole mess is a wake-up call. A lesson for both women to finally face their own flaws and stop letting pride run the show. Because let's be real, if Nicola's really been treating staff badly, that's not just a rumor to brush off, that's something that seriously needs to be addressed. And if Victoria truly tried to sabotage her own son's wedding just to stay in control, that's definitely not the move either. Both of them have some deep self-reflection to do before this family feud turns into a full-blown legacy of chaos. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think this is just another messy celebrity feud, or are we actually witnessing a full-on generational curse playing out in real time? The Beckhams might look picture perfect from the outside, but behind the glam, it's pure tension and tangled emotions. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm dying to know your take on this wild story. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment for more juicy celebrity deep dives just like this one. The drama never stops, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.